everyone, my name is Laura. Welcome to Home and School. Today I'm going to be taking you through some of our family subjects, things we do all together, and how we do it during our table time. Hey everyone, so let's get right into it. One of the things we do during our school day is we have a daily table time. And I know a lot of people out there do some variation of this with like a morning basket or morning time or whatever you want to call it. The idea is that we all come together, we sit down, we read together, we do certain things all together. My kids really enjoy our table time, mostly because they get to have a snack, and I don't blame them, I guess. So that's one of the things we do. We will stop every day at 10. We all sit down at the kitchen table. My 1-year-old's usually napping, which is great for me. And yeah, the kids will pick out a snack and we'll go through our table time subjects. Now, we don't do everything every day. We rotate things. So for instance, every Monday I'll do music and every Thursday I'll do art. Every Wednesday I do our Christian studies, Bible story. So I kind of rotate things in. We don't do the exact same thing every day. One of the things we do during our table time is read aloud. So I always have a chapter book that we're going through. And I'm sharing another video soon. I don't know when it's going to be up, but it's just going through all the books we read aloud last year and some of the ones that I'm planning on reading through this coming year. But I'll show you a couple of those books right now so you have an idea. We are going to be reading through Sarah Plain and Tall, Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, The Magician's Nephew, The Moffats, Tales from Shakespeare, Mary Poppins. These are just some of the books on my read aloud list for next year. I'll choose which ones I want to read them during our table time throughout the year. And then the other ones, my husband actually always has a chapter book going for our evening read aloud time right before bed. So he's always reading them something too. So I kind of compile a big list of all the read alouds I want to try to go throughout the year. And then he just picks a title on the list that he wants to read, and I'll pick a title on the list that I want to start with them at table time. So that's one of the main things we do at table time is we read a chapter in our read aloud book. And then the other thing that we are mainly going through as well is our enrichment. So what we use is the enrichment program through Memoria Press. Last year we went through the kindergarten enrichment. This year we're going to be going through first grade enrichment. So what we do with this is there is a read aloud picture book for the week. And I'll show you kind of an example. I'll kind of walk you through an example of the week. So on one of the weeks, the picture book is called A House is a House for Me by Mary Ann Hoberman. So on Monday, for instance, we would read that picture book together and we would talk maybe a little bit about an overview of the book. I would tell them about the author and illustrator. This enrichment book, it has kind of like a walkthrough of how to go through the book with them. So it has some ideas of things that you can talk about together before you read. It has some vocabulary and what the words mean, if there's some more difficult words in the book. And then it has some review and comprehension questions so that you can discuss the book a little bit with them. So that's one of the things that we would do on Monday. We read through the book. I kind of go through the comprehension questions. I do any sort of discussion thing that it recommends. And that's Monday. And then throughout the week, it also has some ideas to do in regards to history and culture, science, art, poetry, and music. So during the rest of the week at our table time, I'll throw in some of these things. We might read the picture book again. In fact, I usually do read it a couple of times throughout the week, and then we'll do one of these other activities. So for this week, the history and culture thing, we might say do this on Tuesday. Using the book as a starting point, study the types of houses, how climate or circumstance determines that type of house a person might live in. And then there's a couple of recommended supplemental reading books. For instance, Why Oh Why Are Deserts Dry from the Cat in the Hat Learning Library, and then How a House is Built by Gail Gibbons. Usually these supplemental books that they recommend, they have a list in the back, and I've already gotten them from the library for the week. And so I'll read that. So on Tuesday, we might do this history and culture section, and we'll read How a House is Built by Gail Gibbons, and we'll talk about different types of houses and do the activity that's listed there. And then on Wednesday, we might do the science. This one is, there's a couple different options for science this week. You can list the animals referenced in the book, discussing the houses of those animals, considering the importance of camouflage, and then you can take a walk around your neighborhood and see how many animal houses you can find. So that's something that we might do. We would do the discussion part, obviously. We take walks almost every day, so we would probably throw that in on our walk that day. And then another day that week, we would do art, which is also listed here. But you can also get these first grade art cards that go along with it, and this has a picture of all the prints. I don't even know. Starry Night. This has a picture of, all the prints, the art prints that you would need for the whole year are in this stack. So we would go and look at the art print on our art day and then maybe discuss the artist. There's usually a little blurb about the artist. Another day of that week, we would do the recommended music in the enrichment guide here as well. This book, Music Enrichment, it actually is for the enrichment program for K, first and second from Memoria Press. So it has in second grade, in first grade, that particular week, we would listen. I would read this little blurb about it, and then I can ask them the questions about that piece of music that we just listened to. And that's music enrichment for the week. And then also is the poetry enrichment. Now the poetry comes out of one of these books, The Child's Book of Poems, or Animals by Eric Carle. And we'll read the poem, and sometimes there's some questions about that poem, and we can talk about the poem together. We also have this book of crafts for first grade. So, for instance, that week, The House is a House for Me, there's a little craft to do that goes along with the story in the book. So at some point during the week, we'll also do a craft, which will be super fun. So all of these things happen on different days of the week when we are doing our table time. Another thing that we do during table time is Christian studies from Memoria Press as well. This is a very similar layout of a book to the music enrichment. So it has kindergarten, first and second. What you would do is you read the story for the week from the Story Bible. It's a big Bible. I love this one in particular because I think the pictures are pretty well done. And it keeps a lot of the vocabulary from the Bible without really making it too childish, if you understand what I mean. So I do really like this one a lot. So we would read the Bible story out of here. This is the recommended one from Memoria Press as well. And then we would look at that week's, it has definitions. So if there's a harder word, it'll be here and I can explain what that word means. And then there's usually a handful of questions about that story. So we'll read it and then I'll ask the questions and we'll discuss it together. We do this once a week. I think we usually do this, last year we usually did this on Wednesdays I don't know if it'll be on the same day next year, but it'll be once a week again next year. Now, this is not the only religion study that my kids get. They also get a religion class at our co-op. My 5-year-old's in like a saint class, and then my son is in religion class. He's going to be doing one of the books from Tan Academy, Our Holy Faith. I think it's volume 4 that they'll be in next year. So he'll also be doing that. And I'm actually thinking that I'll probably do volume 1 with my 5-year-old as well next year. And those books would be independent or reading with me. So this Christian studies isn't the only religious studies that they get, but it's kind of our main focused Bible story time. We read Bible stories often, and we read the Bible every day with our kids. We read it every morning. It's one of the first things we do when we all come downstairs is we sit down and we pray and we read the Bible before our day starts. And we've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it's been wonderful. But this is more of like a focused Bible story time where we're really listening to the story and thinking about the story and asking questions about things that happened in the story. Last thing that we're going to do during table time as well is something that I'm adding in this coming year. Last year we just did these Manner of the Week charts from Memoria Press, and I just had it hanging up and we would talk about it each day. So they have these like Manner of the Week. This one's thank the person who prepared the food for you. Don't interrupt when other people are speaking. You know, just like some good social skill manners. Good manners, people, you know? And we just do them together and we talk about it, and I remind them throughout the week, like, that's the manner we're working on this week. Let's make sure we're following that manner and doing our best job with it. So this year I'm kind of adding in a little bit more. We're going to be going through Myself and Others, book 2. This is also from Memoria Press. And it's all lessons in social understanding, habits, and manners. And they kind of just have, like, they have a whole layout where you could practice this every day of the week with your kids. I don't know if we'll do it every day, but maybe once, probably twice during the week during our table time, I will do some of this stuff with them, going through manners and habits and social understanding. So we are developing our social skills. And then there's also some supplemental books that go along with it. For instance, Mind Your Manners. This is actually like a coloring book, which is cool. And then there's a couple of these books that go along with it. This one, we have read this one a couple of times already. Cool Down and Work Through Anger. And there's another one, I think it's called Understand and Care. Couldn't find it. I think it's in my daughter's room right now. But that's another thing, just to kind of address manners and good habits and all of those things with my kids during our table time as well. I think I covered everything that we usually do during our table time. If you have any questions, definitely leave them down below and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. We really love the enrichment guides from Memoria Press. They've been one of my kids' favorite parts of homeschooling every day. And we are definitely looking forward to using the first grade one this coming school year. I hope you find this helpful, and I hope to see you again soon. If you're interested in videos about home and homeschooling, definitely subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.